Okay, there's our hose coming from our water source out of the backyard. In today's episode here, we're going to be using the hydro tube to produce some pure water to go into, of course, our backpack sprayer. And this water jug here, this jerry can, it's never had fuel in it. It was bought brand new just for the purpose of storing some water, bringing it on jobs. And so here's a hydro tube, of course. And there's your inlet hose going into the hydro tube. Now coming out the bypass hose, as you can see right here, that's showing us that everything's working fine. We've got the bypass water coming out from the RO. That's all the high concentrate water. If that's running nice and smoothly, that means of course that we're going to get some pretty decent pure water. Okay, now coming out the end, we have our pole hose. Got it all coiled up here. See, I got my little quick snap-on connector, and the valve right now is valve is in the off position here, and so nothing's coming out at the end of the hose. So of course when I turn it on, and there we go, we got some good water coming out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put this on pause for a moment, and this has been running for a couple minutes now, so I'm going to take a sample test of the water, see what the quality is. So just hang on a second. Okay, I don't know if you can see that there, but the meter is sitting in the cap, which is full of water, and we have a 0 parts per million reading. So we're perfectly fine to start filling up our containers. Okay, so I got the hose there in the jerry can. We're filling up our water containers. Basically my plan for doing this kind of thing is if I'm going to be on a job where I know I'm only going to be needing it for the top windows or for a few windows, I'll want to head out with the backpack, this jerry can. I'm actually going to get another jerry can. Both of them are about 5.3 gallons. Add that to the 4-gallon backpack. We got close to pretty much around 15 gallons of water we can take with us on a job. And of course, if we need anything more than that, that's when the hydro tube, of course, will be going with me to use the customer's water source to produce pure water directly on the job. But for now, we're just going to fill these containers. Okay, so here we have it. We've got our everything's full of our containers of water that we just produced with the Mr. Hydro tube over here. And as per my wife's suggestion, and this is sometimes what wives are for, I've labeled the containers water, especially this one here, which is the color yellow, at least here in Canada, is designated for diesel fuel. We definitely want people who, walking by or whatever, the customer, know that this is indeed water that we have in these jugs here. So these small jugs here, they got 3 gallons each. This one here is 5.3, the jerry can, and the backpack's just a hair over 4. So we've got a little over 15 gallons to work with here. Like I said, I'm probably going to grab another jerry can. That'll put me over 20 gallons I can take on particular jobs where I might not be able to take the hydro tube for whatever reason. Maybe I don't have room in my truck because I have a lot of other gear, or I'm not going to have access to a water source. So I'm going to definitely want to bring my own water with me. Okay, at this point we are done making pure water for today. And basically all that's left at this point is to let the hydro tube drain for a good 4 or 5 minutes, maybe even 6 minutes, as long as you still see water coming out of the inlet connector down at the bottom here. You can see the water coming out until that really stops. I mean, it doesn't have to stop fully. You see the odd drip, it's not a problem, but definitely you want to to prolong the life of your RO membrane and your filters here. You want all that concentrated water to flow back out. You don't want that concentrated water to be sitting up there, up in your membrane, your RO membrane. Okay, the last and final thing that we're going to do with the hydro tube, now that it's finished draining for the most part, and before we put this thing away or before we put it into a vehicle to transport it, what we're going to want to do is connect the bypass hose to the inlet valve. That way securing the flow connection so that the hydro tube does not continue to release water that may be inside the hydro tube and into your vehicle or wherever you're storing it. But one thing I want to point out before we do that, now you may remember at the beginning of the video where we showed the bypass hose going into the garden bed. If you take a look at this here, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little bit of dirt there from the garden bed. And the last thing you want to do is put dirt inside here because, you know, this is where your water's coming in. It's going to flush that up into your filters there. So we're just going to grab a little cloth here. And we're just going to make sure that's nice and clean, because we don't want any contaminants inside of an expensive piece of equipment like this and screw up our ability to make pure water. Okay, nice and shiny, new looking again. So we'll just hook that up here onto the inlet of the hydro tube, and we're basically ready to either transport this in our vehicle, go to the next job, go to the shop, go home, or wherever we've got to go, or put it in storage in the garage or the basement or wherever you keep your hydro tube. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I'm Mark, the window cleaner. Thanks for watching.